What just happened in Dallas has sent shockwaves throughout the NFL universe and has left Cowboys Nation speechless, absolutely stunned. Today, we bring you urgent, breaking news that no one saw coming. DeMarcus Lawrence, the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys defense, has officially parted ways with the team, ending an 11-season run that shaped the very identity of this franchise. Yes, you've heard that right, D-Law is gone. The guy who wore the star on his helmet with pride for over a decade, who brought relentless pressure on quarterbacks, who stood tall during tough times and inspired the locker room with his voice and intensity, is now moving on. And it's not just a player leaving, it's a legacy shifting, a chapter closing, and the start of a brand new era that fans and analysts alike are scrambling to make sense of. The moment this news broke, social media erupted. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, every single platform was ablaze with disbelief. Fans were refreshing their feeds in confusion, hoping it was just a rumor or a misquote, maybe even a hacked account. But it was real, verified, official. D-Law is no longer a Dallas Cowboy, and that is hard to accept for many, especially because this wasn't a situation fans had braced themselves for. He was the longest tenured player on the roster after Zach Martin left. He was, in many ways, the last standing symbol of the old guard, the player who represented grit, toughness, and loyalty in a team that has constantly battled with inconsistency and high expectations. And let's not forget what this guy meant on the field. We're talking about a defensive force who recorded over 60 career sacks, disrupted countless offensive drives, and consistently brought energy and leadership to a defense that, let's be honest, hasn't always been among the league's elite. DeMarcus was a tone setter, a warrior. Every snap he played, whether in September or January, you could see the fire in his eyes. He wasn't just chasing quarterbacks, he was commanding the line, calling out plays, adjusting formations, mentoring young guys like Micah Parsons and Osa Odighizuwa, and holding people accountable. Coaches loved him, teammates respected him, opponents feared him, so to see him leave, not in a trade, not in a planned retirement, but through what feels like a cold, sudden departure, feels deeply personal to the fanbase. And let me tell you, the players are feeling it too. Reports came in that CeeDee Lamb, the star wide receiver and one of the emotional engines of this team, literally found out live during a stream and was visibly shaken. The moment he read the news, his reaction said it all: pure shock. That's how tight-knit this locker room was with D-Law. This wasn't just a captain walking out. This was a brother, a role model, a culture carrier. And now that he's gone, there's a real question looming: who fills that void? Who steps into that leadership role that he embodied for so long? Of course, some fans are trying to look at this pragmatically. It's a business, they say. The NFL moves fast. And sure, there's truth to that. Salary cap decisions, roster turnover, injuries, age, all of that plays into how front offices manage personnel. But let's not pretend this one doesn't sting. This isn't your average free agent walking away for a slightly better deal. This is DeMarcus Lawrence. He bled blue and silver. And yes, maybe his stats declined slightly over the last couple of seasons. Maybe he wasn't the sack leader anymore. But that doesn't capture the value he brought. The film tells the story. His ability to set the edge, disrupt the run game, collapse pockets, and create space for other defenders to thrive. Those contributions don't always show up on the stat sheet, but coaches know, and so do the true fans. His presence allowed guys like Micah Parsons to do what they do best. His wisdom and poise were crucial in preparing the younger players to take the next step. And his passion? Man, that was irreplaceable. You don't coach that. You don't draft that. That kind of fire comes from within. And now Dallas is without it. So where do the Cowboys go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Because the implications go far beyond just one position. This departure changes the team's identity. It shifts the power dynamic in the locker room. It puts pressure on the coaching staff to fill both a talent and leadership gap. And it tells us, more than anything, that this offseason is not about continuity, it's about transition. We're already seeing it. The Cowboys front office made some early moves, adding players like linebacker Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn in an effort to plug holes and build depth. But let's be honest, none of them bring what DeMarcus brought. None of them have the presence or legacy. And when you look at the current roster, you see some undeniable talent. Guys like Micah Parsons, who has been phenomenal. Trevon Diggs, who brings ball-hawking ability to the secondary. But those are still relatively young players. The veteran voice is suddenly missing, and in a team with playoff aspirations and a demanding fanbase, leadership matters. This also sends a message to the locker room. If DeMarcus Lawrence can walk, no one is safe. Not even the players you thought would retire in Dallas. That creates uncertainty, and that uncertainty can be both motivating and destabilizing, depending on how the locker room responds. For Dak Prescott, who now becomes the most senior member of the team, this is a defining moment. He has to step up not just on the field, but behind the scenes. He has to be the glue that keeps this team together, because right now, morale is fragile. And it's not just fans who are watching, it's the media, analysts, even other teams. Everyone is asking, what is Dallas doing? Are they rebuilding? Are they reloading? Are they just shedding cap? Or is this part of a grander plan that we simply don't see yet? The answers aren't clear, but what is clear is that the Cowboys can't afford to get this next phase wrong. This team has hovered in playoff limbo for years, good enough to make the dance, but never quite good enough to go deep. And now, without one of their defensive anchors, the road just got a whole lot tougher. This could be the turning point for better or worse. If Micah Parsons takes on the mantle and elevates not only his game but his leadership, if the new defensive coordinator can rally the troops and build a cohesive unit, and if the front office makes smart decisions in free agency and the draft, then maybe, just maybe, this team can use this loss as fuel. But if they don't, if the leadership vacuum lingers, if injuries mount, if morale dips, this could be the unraveling of a promising but ultimately underachieving era. And here's the emotional part that's hitting fans the hardest. DeMarcus Lawrence didn't just play for Dallas. He loved Dallas. He made it his home. He gave back to the community. He mentored youth. He stood for something bigger than just football. His legacy in the city isn't just defined by sacks and tackles. It's about his character, his heart, his dedication. That's what hurts. That's why fans are emotional. Because he wasn't just a name on a jersey, he was one of us. And now he's gone. So as we sit here, processing this news, we ask ourselves, what does this mean for the future of the Dallas Cowboys? What kind of team are we becoming? Are we losing our identity, or are we forging a new one? The next few months will reveal everything. The front office has decisions to make. The players have roles to step into. And the fans? Well, we'll be watching, hoping, supporting, because that's what fans do. But make no mistake, this is a pivotal moment in Cowboys history. One that we'll look back on as a true fork in the road. Was letting DeMarcus Lawrence walk a mistake? Or was it a bold move toward something greater? Only time will tell. But for now, we salute the warrior, the leader, the cowboy who gave us everything for 11 years. Thank you, DeMarcus Lawrence. You will never be forgotten. And to Cowboys Nation, stay strong. Because the story isn't over. It's just getting started.